found the tally. And in last class, I gave you guys an example. I gave you this example to show the 5 steps to construct the frequency distribution. And for example, the first step, I gave you the number of classes. Here, I always tells you the number of classes is 7, right? And the range gonna be the maximum minus the minimum, and divided by the divided by the number of classes. We got 75.72. So we round up. That means gonna have class width 36, right? Okay. After you get the number of class and class width, we can start with the minimum number, right? The minimum number here is 155. 155. Add 36, we're gonna get the lower class limit for the next class, right? Add 36, we're gonna 191, and add 36, we're gonna get the next lower class limit. Okay, we add 36, continue to add. We want to construct 7 classes. We're going to construct 7 classes, right? So we have 7 classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for the up class limit, we can use continuity property, because here's 191. That means here the up limit class should be 190. The same things. Here is 227. Here is 226. Right? And you can construct all the upper class limit. Of course, you can add 36. Right? Add a class width 36 to get the next upper class limit, and you can get all the upper class limits. Okay, after you construct the classes, then you can tally the entries, right? For example, in this class, between 155 and 190, we have 3 numbers. So you tally 3, right? And of course, you can do all the things for this column, and the frequency, just count it, 3 to 5, blah, 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 blah. And in the last, I want to mention the summation of the frequency always equals the number of data. That's the big important property. Okay, so summation of this column always equals the number of data. Okay, you can count it. They are 30 numbers. 30 numbers. Okay, that's it. So now I'm gonna give you guys another example. Let you guys try it, and I wish everybody today can make it. Okay. Sorry. Two, 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 5, 8, 3. Now I want you guys construct a frequency distribution that has 3 classes. Okay, now follow the steps. Follow the steps. Follow these 5 steps that we learned from last class. Okay, and I wish through this example going to help you to refresh your mind. And that's the basic skill you need to master. Okay, otherwise you didn't learn anything from me. You know, next time when you find a job, your boss wants you to find frequency distribution and giving a bunch of data. You don't know, you have no idea what you're gonna do, right? So that's pretty important things you're gonna learn. Are you done? Oh, that's so quick. You're done? Fantastic. Good. I'll give you guys 1 more minute. Make sure you can get the table for me, okay? That's a very, very basic skill. If you find a job, your boss will consider. That's a basic skill. Okay, I bet most of you guys already get it. It's not too hard, right? So let's take a look. The first step, how many classes? 3, right? 3 classes. It's here, I gave you, right? 3 classes. 2, the range. Range gonna be the highest number. Subtract the lowest number. That is 6, right? So the class width gonna be 6 divided by 3, right? The range divided by the number of classes is 2. So round up to the convenient number. That will be 3. Third, find the class limit. Find the class limit. So we're going to construct the class. As we know, all the classes will start with the minimal number, especially the first class. We're gonna start with the minimal number. So the minimum number is 2, right? Is 2. And so we constructed the lower class limit for the first class, right? For the first class, how to calculate the lower class limit for the second class width, right? That's a structure we learned. Should be a fine, right? And for the third one, gonna plus 3. We'll get 8, right? 2, 5, 8. And for the upper class limit, so consider the property of continuity of the numbers. Here's a 5, so it's supposed to be a 4, right? So from 2 to 4. Here is 8. Here's supposed to be a 7, right? And of course, for the last one, you need to add 3, right? The same thing. Add 3 is a class width. So when you add class width, gonna get the next upper class limit. Right. That's it. And tally and the frequency. So for the tally, we can count the data belongs to this range, right? From 2 to 4, right? How many numbers? We can count it. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And the number between 5 and 7, 1, 2, 1 and 2. So we count 2. And the number belongs to 8, 10, that is 1, right? So frequency gonna be 3 to 1. So we finish this table. We finish this table, right? And as I mentioned before, the summation of all these numbers gonna be what? Do I make a mistake?
Isn't there 2 5s and 1 6? So it should be 3.
Yeah, it should be 3. Hold on. Let me check the 5, 1, 2, 3. That's a 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's right. Oh, it's a 5. You're right. Good job. Good job. I made a mistake. Good job. So total summation gonna be of guys should be 9. Otherwise, I'm gonna get 3 to 1 gonna be 6. So you can check how many numbers we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you get a number different from 9, that should be a mistake, right? Should be a mistake. There's a number of data. Okay, now I'm gonna move on. I already did 3 examples, right? So I assume all you guys already mastered these things already. Okay. Now I'm gonna move on. Today we're gonna learn some new stuff. This new stuff gonna help you guys to solve all the problems in your homework. Okay, in your homework. So let's continue. The first terminology is what? Midpoint. Midpoint. And the midpoint is defined as lower class limit. class up class limit. Divided by 2. Okay. And the second terminology is relative frequency. And that is the class frequency divided by sample size. F divided by N. Okay, we denote the frequency, class frequency is F, and the sample size N. And the third terminology, oh, I have another one. The sample size equals the summation of all the frequency. Okay. This property we already learned from before. Examples is here. Okay. So for this example, we know the sample size, that is the total numbers, total number of the data. Here is a 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, right? And we see the summation of the frequency, that is 9. So we can see summation of all the frequency equals sample size. Okay. Sample size. The cumulative frequency of a class is the sum of the frequency of that class and all previous classes. Okay, so be careful. Here's another definition for the frequency, and we call it cumulative frequency, and that is the summation of the frequency in the class for previous classes. Okay. Later I'm gonna give you guys an example, and basically here I give you 3 important terminologies. The first one is the midpoint. I think the midpoint is going to be very straightforward. Just the average of the lower class limit and the upper class limit. Average. Okay. For the relative frequency, is the class frequency divided by the sample size. Okay. The class frequency divided by the sample size. Now I'm gonna give you guys an example. So the first example is here. I gave you a class, and this class is we did before from our previous example. This is a previous example I showed you before. Okay, I just copy all the stuff from the previous example. Yeah, okay, is 100. Copy it. Copy this example. Okay. And this example we did in the last class, 155, 190, and we got all the frequency, and the class is like here. Okay, that's what we did in the last class. Here I just copy it, copy the classes and the frequency that we did. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 3. Okay, so we get this class in a table from the example we learned from last class. Okay, so give this table how to find the midpoint. That's the first step. How to find the midpoint. So based on the definition, midpoint is the average of lower class limit and the upper class limit. All right. So here we can see for this class, the lower class limit is 155. Upper class limit is 190. So the midpoint is gonna be the average of these two. Okay, the average of these two, this should be 172.5. Okay, and then for the second class, the lower class limit is 191, and the upper class limit is 226. So you can tell the average of these two gonna be 208.5. Okay, now I want you guys to calculate the midpoint for the other 5 classes. Calculate it by yourself. Okay, calculate the midpoint. I think it's not too hard. It should be easy for you guys. Just let you guys practice how to use your calculator. Okay, you need to be very familiar with your calculator. Pretty good. I think so. It's not too tough. Just use your calculator to calculate the average. Now I'm gonna write down all the answers. Okay. So 227 plus 262 divided by 2. That's gonna be 244.4. And the left one gonna be 280.5, and this guy gonna be 316.5, 352.5. Okay, we finish it. We finished this column. Now we're gonna go to the second terminology, how to calculate the relative frequency. So for the relative frequency, as I mentioned before, is defined by the class frequency divided by the sample size. Class frequency and the sample size. And for the table, we know I give you a bunch of frequency, and I don't give you a specific number of sample size. What are you gonna do? You let the n equals the total number of frequency. We can get it from here. Okay, so how to calculate the n? Just do the summation of this guy, right? And we're gonna get the n sample size. And we can easily get here is 30. So the sample size is 30, right? Do the summation of all these numbers. And as I mentioned before, that is the sample size, right? Sample size, or the number of, the total number of data, okay? Now, the relative frequency is divided as F divided by N, okay? The class frequency divided by N, and here the frequency is 3, the sample size is 30. All right, the sample size is 30, and the frequency is 3. F divided by N gonna be, use your calculator, and you're gonna get 0.1, okay, 0.1. The same thing. Here is frequency is 2 divided by 30, and you're gonna get about 0.07, okay, 0.07. And the third one is 5 divided by 30. That is about 0.17. Okay, so finish the other 5 or the other 4. Okay, the other 4 relative frequency. Do it by yourself. Use your calculator. Should be very quick. Okay. I bet most of you guys already did it. So for the fourth one, gonna be 6 divided by 30 should be 0.2. And the fifth one gonna be 0.23, 0.13, 0.1. Okay, so that's the relative frequency. Okay, the last one is the cumulative frequency. And based on the definition, we know cumulative frequency gonna be what? Gonna be the summation of the frequency of z class plus or and all previous classes. Okay, all previous classes. So the keywords is all previous classes. That's the keywords. Okay, for the cumulative frequency. Now let's take a look at this example. It's very clear for the first class, we have frequency 3, right? Frequency 3. And the frequency of all previous classes, there's no previous classes before this first class, right? So that's only 3. Okay, very straightforward. Now, for the second class, we know the frequency for the second class should be 2, and we should add all the previous classes. That is 3. All the previous classes 3, right? Should be a 5. Clear? It's a cumulative. Now let's take a look. The third class. The frequency for the third class is 5. And add all the frequency of all previous classes. So it's 2 plus 3, 5. Right? 2 plus 3. That is 10. All previous classes. Okay. Or you can let 5 plus 5 equals 10. Okay. This 5 plus this 5 equals 10. Now let's take a look. The fourth one. The frequency for the fourth one is 6 plus all the previous frequency should be 10. 16, right? And for the fifth class, we know the frequency is 7 plus the frequency of all previous classes. All the previous is a summation of these 4, right? So it should be 16. Clear? Okay, now finish the last 2 by yourself. I think it will not be so hard, right? You should make it. Okay, very good. I mean, most of you guys should get it. So for the second to the last, it should be 4 plus all the previous should be 23. That is 27. And the last one gonna be 3 plus 27 is 30. Okay, 30. That's it. So far, any questions? No question? Okay, that's very good. Now, I want you guys do it by yourself. I'm gonna give you guys an example. Find the midpoint. Find the relative frequency. Find the cumulative frequency. Okay? Try it by yourself. You make it? Good, fantastic. You're pretty quick. Okay, I think most of you guys should get it. Let me do it on board. So for the midpoint, we just consider the class, right? We calculate 2 plus 4 equals 3, right? Equals 3. And 5 plus 7 divided by 2 should be 6. 8 plus 10 should be 9. Right? Very simple. For the relative frequency, we're gonna use the sample size, right? Sample size can be calculated through the summation of all the frequency. 5 plus 3 plus 1 gonna be what? 9. Right. So we have relative frequency is 5 over 9. That is what? 0.56, right? 0.56. And for the second one is 6 divided by, is 3 divided by 9. The frequency is here, 3, right? So it's about 0.333. And for the last one is 1 divided by 9. It's about 0.11, right? 0.11. So that's the relative frequency. Should be very straightforward. And for the cumulative frequency, we should be the frequency for this class add all the frequency of previous classes. So since there's no previous classes, just fine. Okay. And for this guy, gonna be 3 plus 5 equals 8. And for this class, gonna be 1 plus 8 equals 9. So that's the cumulative classes. Do you want more examples or just move on? Move on? Or? Okay, good. Good. I assume all you already understand these 3 terminologies: midpoint, relative frequency, and cumulative frequency. And I think you can do your homework now. Now, we still have some other terminologies. Definition. A frequency histogram uses bars to represent the frequency distribution histogram, okay, of a data set. A data set. Histogram is the following properties. Following properties. The first one is the horizontal scale. The horizontal scale is quantitative. And measures the data entries. Measures the data entries. 2. The vertical scale measures the frequency of the classes. Okay. Third, the constructive bars must touch. Okay, must touch. So here I have a new terminology, a frequency histogram. Histogram, okay? And we use a picture, a bar, to represent the frequency distribution. And for frequency histogram, we have three properties. The horizontal scale is a measures the data entries, okay, data entries. And the vertical scale is always about frequency. And the third property, the bars should touch each other. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys an example. And so this example, you're gonna see these are three important properties. Okay, so for example, based on the example we learned from last one is this guy. Okay, how to construct the frequency distribution with respect to the middle point here. Okay, so how to construct the histogram based on the frequency and the middle point here. Okay, frequency and middle point here. Now, let me show you how to construct it. For the histogram, we have X scale and the Y scale. X scale and the Y scale. And in order to here we use frequency for the Y, for the X, that is expense. For example, here is expense. And of course, we use a middle point to represent the X scale, okay? And the frequency, of course, we define it as frequency, okay? So now we can construct the bar. So the first point is what? Is 172.5. Second one is middle point is 208.5. Okay, write down all the middle points on the x-axis. Okay, mark down all the points. Here is 244.5. Here is 285. 316.5. 352.5. 388.5. Okay. So for the X scale, we use the middle points. And the example actually is about the example actually is about the expense. That is from your textbook. So I just put the expense here, okay? If you want to check the details, you can check your textbook. Okay, I just copy it from your textbook. And because this data is all about the expense, okay, it's about the expense. So I put expense here. And the most important thing is about the scale that we used for the x-axis. Here we use the middle points, okay, middle points I mentioned in this table. We're going to use the middle points, okay, middle points. And for the y-axis, we use the frequency, okay? That's the most important things. As we can see, for the middle point is 172.5. The frequency should be 3. So we just draw the 3. 1, 4, 6, 8, and 10. We draw the 3. Okay, so the first bar is 3. Okay. And for the second one, for the second middle point corresponding to the frequency is 2, right? So we just draw the 2. Oh, it's a little bit ugly. I wish you don't mind. Okay, it's 2. And be careful, as I mentioned before, the constructive bars must touch. Okay, so these 2 bars always touches each other. Make sure these 2 bars touches each other. There's no gap between these 2 bars. Okay, 2 bars. And the third one is 5, right? This middle point corresponding to the frequency is 5. That is 5. Okay, let's continue. For the 280.5, that is 6. So it's 6. Okay, and we can continue to finish the left. 7, 4, 3. Okay, let's finish all of them. Um, 4, 3, okay, and we finish it, and we call this guy as histogram, or histogram, sorry, histogram. Okay, histogram. Because it's kind of histogram. Okay, now I want you guys I want you guys to use the table. The table we learned. We learned from last example, right? We just did this table before. I want you guys use the middle point here and the frequency here to construct the histogram by yourself, okay, by yourself. Use the example we did to construct the histogram for me, okay? So follow these three important properties. X is the middle point, and the Y should be the frequency, right? And then you can construct it. And be careful, all the bars should touch each other. There's no gap, okay? This should be easy. Good, good. Have you drawn the bar picture before? Great, great. I think some of you even draw the bar on the Excel. You can do it, right? Excel, the Microsoft Office, Excel. Next time I can show you how to draw it. Okay, I'm gonna draw it on board. I think it's not too hard. So for the axis, we're gonna draw the what? Middle point. I draw the middle point. So I'm gonna draw it. So 3, 6, 9, right? Middle point. And for the y-axis gonna be at the frequency. So I can draw the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And we can tell the first middle point is 3 corresponding to the frequency is 5, right? So we can draw the bar is from here. It's 5, right? And the second middle point, 6, corresponding to 3, right? 3. So we're gonna draw the bar. And the last one corresponding to the frequency is 1. That's it, right? That's it. Very simple and very straightforward. As long as you understand the x-axis is about the middle points, and you're gonna get the x-axis, and the y-axis is about the frequency. You're gonna use the frequency from the table, and of course you need to be careful. All the bars should touch each other. Okay, that's it. Now let's continue. So you guys understand it, right? How to draw it. Very good. Now, let's continue. We're gonna learn a new stuff. A frequency polygon. Okay. Frequency polygon. Polygon is a line graph that emphasizes emphasizing too much space. But it's this way. Emphasizes the continuous change in frequencies. Okay, so for the polygon is a line. It is a line, and I'm gonna show you guys an example. Previously we used a box. Now we're gonna use the line. Okay, we're gonna use a line. The same thing. We're gonna still use the this example. We're gonna still use this example, and we're gonna still use midpoint and the frequency. Okay. For the x-axis, we're still gonna use midpoint, and for the y-axis, we're still gonna use frequency. Okay. Now let's take a look. I'm gonna draw the x-axis. X-axis and the y, as we know, that is a frequency. Okay. And we're gonna draw the midpoint. So 172. 200.8.5. That's the midpoint. 244.5, 280.5, 316.5, 350.5, 380.5. Okay, so we list all the midpoints. All the midpoints is the second column midpoint. Okay, like we did before. And now for the y-axis, we need to mark down the frequency. So for the first midpoint corresponding to the frequency, that is 3. Okay. So of course we need mark down the frequency. And for the first midpoint corresponding to the frequency, that is 3. So 3 is here. So we can see this guy is 3. Find the first dot. Okay, corresponding to the midpoint 172.5. Okay, And for the second midpoint, that corresponding to the frequency, that is 2. Okay, so we mark down the second midpoint is 2. It's here, right? It's here. And of course, for the third midpoint, that is 5. We just mark down the 5. Okay, and of course, we can continue for the third one. That is, for the fourth one should be 6. And for the fifth one, gonna be 7. Should be a 7 here. And for the one to the last, for the one, the 8th is 4. And the last one gonna be 3. Okay, we find all the points. So we can connect all the points or all the dots. We connect all the dots, Understood? Now, the tricky part is for the frequency polygon is we need to have initial points and points. We always start with the frequency equals 0 and end with the frequency 0. So we need to create 2 extra points to say that is the initial point and the last one gonna be the end point. So how to create the initial point? Be careful. So here we know the gap between 172.5 and 208.5 is what? You can calculate it. That is 36. 36. And that is also the class width. So how to find the initial point? The initial point was should be what? We let this number subtract. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna say that again because you guys didn't see it. So we know the gap between 172.5 and 208.5 is what? Is 36. We let this number subtract this number. So 208.5 subtract 172.5, that is 36. Okay. So how to find the initial point? We just let 172.5 subtract the 36, and this 36 is also the class width. Okay, subtract the 36, and we're gonna get 136.5. Right. So the initial point for this guy is 136.5, and the frequency value should be 0. We assume the initial point has the 0 frequency. Okay, 0 frequency. That is here. And how to find the end point? So that the initial point and the end point. End point, we just let the last midpoint, add 36. Okay, and for the 36, that is defined as class width. How to get it? Just let this number subtract 172.5, or you let this number subtract 244.5. Whatever number you calculate, you always get the same value, 36. Okay, so now for the last, or the end point, should be 424.5. So you find the end point is 424.5. And be careful, the initial point and the end point both has the same frequency, that is 0. Okay, is 0. Now we finish all the points. Just connect all of them. That's it. So we call this guy is frequency polygon. Frequency polygon. So the only difficulty things, or the only thing you need to concern is that we have 2 extra points. That's the initial point and the end point. How to get the initial point? Just let this middle point subtract the gap. The gap, okay? Subtract here, the gap is 36. And for the end point, you just let the last middle point add the gap. You're gonna get it, and then connect it. That's it. Now I want you guys use the frequency polygon to represent these 2 columns. Okay, these 2 columns. Now do it by yourself. Okay, do it by yourself. Oh, I need to dismiss class, but okay. I need to delay 2 minutes. Is that okay? Just finish it. Yeah, I want to make sure everybody can get it. It should be very quick. Should be very quick. Because last class I forget it. That is 1 hour and 15 minutes. I just end with within 1 hour. I thought it's 15 minutes, so I end the class so early. I think it should be very easy. Just mark down the middle points on the x-axis and the frequency in y-axis. It's the only thing you need to be careful is about the initial point and end point, right? Just connect all the points. That's it. Okay, I bet some of you already get it. Now I'm gonna do it on board. So here we have x-axis, the same things, middle point, 3x9. And for the y frequency, we're gonna have so for the y is the frequency. And for the initial point, should be a 0 here. Here it should be a 12 because the gap is 3, right? Is 3. So you subtract 3 should be 0, add 3 should be 12. So for the first point should be 5. Second point should be 3. Here is 1. And the initial point should be 0. So you just connect all the points. That's it. That's it, right?